want to tell our viewers, you just brought us the details, you want to tell our viewers about the full case as you've accessed it, the full details that you've accessed and what the investigation shows, Shravan?
Well, in fact, just about a few months ago, immovable properties connected to Health Minister Satyendar Jain was attached by the Enforcement Directorate. So you're talking about 4 companies. One is Akinchan Developers Private Limited, Indo Metal Impex Private Limited, Prayas Institutions Private Limited, Ideal Estate Private Limited. This were connected to Swati Jain, wife of Vaibhav Jain, Shushila Jain, wife of Ajit Prasad Jain, Indu Jain. They were all booked under Prevention of the Money Laundering Act in a disproportionate assets case is what we are being told right now. And in fact, these companies, they have been directly or indirectly linked to the minister. Now, what's the basic charge that has been leveled? As a public servant, back in 2015 and 2016, there have been certain transactions that have taken place. These transactions that have taken place is through shell companies, and through Hawala, these companies were receiving the money. And who was the beneficiary? According to the Enforcement Directorate, it is Satyendar Jain as well as his family members. And that's the reason why, based on the FIR that was registered back in 2015 by the Central Bureau of Investigation, this case was also taken up by the Enforcement Directorate, given the fact that there was a predicate offence that has been, that was cut out. And that is the reason why we are looking at this case being done. Now, the Enforcement Directorate has so far revealed, now this is what the Enforcement Directorate says, that they've revealed that during the period of 2015 and 2016, Satyendar Kumar Jain was a public servant, and these companies that I just made a mention of, they were benefiting, they were owned and controlled by him. They were receiving accommodation entries to the tune of about 4.81 crore. That's the amount that you're looking at, that these very companies had actually got. That's what we are being told right now. These were all through shell companies. So the money was being routed through shell companies, and that too through the Hawala route. That's the reason why during the investigation, when we were given to understand that multiple raids were carried out, searches were basically carried out at multiple locations. In fact, over 10 locations where these searches were carried out are following the ECR that was registered. There were certain Hawala operators back in Calcutta who were basically under the scanner. They were called in for questioning by the Enforcement Directorate. Now, what the Enforcement Directorate is saying, from the money that was diverted to these very companies, there were parcel of lands that were brought. These are agricultural lands that were bought by Satyendar Jain as well as his family members. Now, that's the big allegation that has been leveled. So what's really happened right now? The minister was actually called in for questioning multiple times, is what we are being told by the Enforcement Directorate. Today, finally, the Enforcement Directorate has taken the call to go ahead and arrest Satyendar Jain. That's the latest details that are coming in. Now, the properties that have been attached so far, they are also properties that have been linked to Satyendar Jain and his family members. So there is a clear-cut case that the Enforcement Directorate believes of money laundering and also the Prevention of Corruption Act. And that's the reason why the CBI too has basically cut out, has basically filed a
Stay with me,
this particular matter.
Shravan, getting in the first Aam Aadmi Party reaction, let's get Naresh Balyan. Naresh Balyan of the Aam Aadmi Party joining us on the phone line. He's an MLA from Delhi. Naresh Balyan joining us on the phone line. Naresh Balyan ji, आपका first response to the arrest that has been made of Satyendar Jain. नरेश बलियान, can you hear me?
जी
हाँ बताइए, आपका पार्टी का पहला रिएक्शन क्या है? हमें अभी ये ब्रेकिंग न्यूज आ रहा है कि सत्येंद्र जैन को अरेस्ट किया गया है।
देखिए